I know, I feel like those are handmade steps. Jesus. It's almost like walking down the aisle for my wedding. Except my husband wasn't sitting in the audience. So I'm in my 30s, if you must know. Dragged it out of me. I'm going through like a midlife crisis, and once you hit your 30s, you kind of feel like you're getting old. And I'm like, how do I stay young? And so I just started hanging out with my grandfather. He's 91. Instantly made me feel younger. So when I go out with him and his friends, I like to think I'm like the bad boy of the group. I'm like the Fonzie. I don't know if Fonzie was the bad boy of the group. But I took him to church recently and like to do an errand, and you never call church an errand to an older person who goes to church. But I took him to church and I brought an iced coffee with me because my iced coffee comes everywhere with me because it's like my plus one. I'm in my 30s. I brought my iced coffee with me, and we went to walk into the church, and my grandfather has a cane. And when people get old and they have a cane, they use the cane for everything. He was like, "But you can't come in here with an iced coffee." And I was like, "Why not? It comes everywhere with me." And he's like, "Because it's disrespectful to God." And I was like, "What's gonna happen? Am I gonna walk in and like, God's gonna strike me down for bringing this in here?" I'm like, the priest is in there right now drinking wine. It's like a bar in there. People are singing songs from the Bible like Broadway show tunes. And they're handing out bread to keep people sober. I can't bring someone has to drive home. Someone has to DD from this place. I gotta stay on my coffee grind. Church is like a pub, that's just how I see it. Which is fine, because I grew up going to dive bars. Like, I had Easter in a dive bar when I was 7. Budweiser and scrambled eggs. It's like just the way God would have wanted it. Like, I feel like Jesus is definitely more of a beer guy, like a Budweiser guy, than a wine guy. He's got a beard. Definitely a scrambled eggs and Budweiser guy. So I brought my coffee into church, and once I put it under my coat like I was smuggling in contraband. Like when you go to the movies and you try to bring the snow caps in that you bought at like Ocean State, and you put it in your coat, and you're like, "There's nothing in here, my coat is just shaped like a rectangle." So I brought my coffee in, and immediately I found out why I shouldn't have brought my coffee in, because it was dead silent in there, and it's so tall, everything echoes, and I was walking down the aisle with my coffee, and the ice cubes were shaking, and it sounded like a Yahtzee cup. The priest was like, "We're going to get started in a second. Open your books to page 292. Is that Yahtzee? Who brought Yahtzee in here? It's my favorite. But I don't carry cash on me because I'm a millennial. And I told my grandfather, I'm like, "We gotta sit in the middle of the pew." Because you've never been to a Catholic church, the pews run the whole width, and they come around with this little cash basket on a stick, and they collect money. And I was like, "I don't have cash, so we gotta sit in the middle of the pew." We sit in the middle of the pew. They can't reach us with their basket. Boy, was I wrong. The priest got to our aisle, and I said, "Don't make direct eye contact, don't look." And the priest looked at us, and he nodded, and he extended his basket like a pool skimmer. And next thing I know, I look down, it's bobbing in front of our face. And I'm like, "Don't look up, don't look up." And my grandfather looked up, and the priest is just staring at us like a sad puppy dog waiting for the money. I'm like, "Why don't you update your payment system? Why don't you get like Cash App or something?" I still wouldn't donate, but... But another thing about church I forgot about, I haven't been in so long, is when I was in there and I was kind of zoning out, I forgot they have like these closets on the side of the church. And they're like, they call them the confessionals. And you go in there, I call them like the cupboards of shame. The priest just sits in there like a jack in the box. Waiting. And the last time I went in, I was like 7. And I went in, I was very serious about it. Well, they made you do it at CCD to like go in there and confess. And I went in, I took it very seriously. The priest is sitting in there like a jack in the box. He's like, confess to me, you sinner. And I looked at him, and like, if you've never been in one, they have like a little cardboard like wall in between you and the priest. That's like, it's like a cheese grater. And you can like just see his eyes peering through. And he's like, confess to me, and I was like, well, you know what? I ate a muffin this morning. It was a chocolate chip muffin, and it's Lent. And I gave up chocolate for Lent. But to be fair, I didn't know there was chocolate on the muffin before I ate it. I did know, I'm lying. Yeah, you got me again. And the priest was like, I forgive you. I was like, this seems too easy. You didn't ask anyone, I didn't hear you ask God or anything else. It seems like you just made an executive decision right now to forgive you for that. Is that how this works? If you're letting something small like this slide that easily, what else are you letting slide? Apparently a lot, because I've seen the movie Spotlight. Well, you know, I would eat healthier if it were easier. Like, I love eating like chocolate chip muffins for breakfast and stuff, but I would eat healthier if it were a lot easier. Like the other day I typed in, I was like, you know, all right, I'm gonna try like healthy chocolate chip cookie recipe, which is kind of redundant on its own. But like the healthy recipes always, they never let you, they're just so condescending. Like the first paragraph was like, I clicked on a link and it's like, you know chocolate chip cookies aren't healthy no matter how you make them. But if you must make them, why don't you follow my organic recipe? And the ingredients are always impossible to find. Like the first ingredient was like, you need an egg. Not just any egg though, or it's gotta be an organic egg from a farm-raised chicken who walks around the yard for 7 to 8 hours a day to stretch his legs before he does aerobics and yoga. The second ingredient was like stone ground flour from wheat. You figure out how to make that. The third thing, you're going to need a pilot license for this one, because you're going to have to pilot an aircraft into the remote regions of the Himalayas to secure some sea salt. And when you're done with that, it should be about 3 weeks. And at that point I give up. I'm like, Oreos makes it so easy. They literally just like, I did the work for you, but everything, you can sue us, we got the worst ingredients, we smushed them together. You don't even have to cut the box open anymore. There's just a sticker, it says pull here. It's so easy. I do work out though, I got into Peloton recently. Oh, I thought there'd be like, some claps for a Peloton. But, I don't have the bike, I just have the app. It's like when you're a kid and all your friends have bikes and they're like, we're going around the neighborhood, come on, let's go. And you're like, I'm on foot, wait up. It is a workout though, just trying to follow the instructor's instructions, and you have to rewind it to listen to what she's gonna say, and then I'm like, why am I even doing this? I don't even have the bike. So I was like, I'm gonna go get my steps in the organic way by walking aimlessly around a store. Josh likes thrift stores. If any people like thrift in here, I went down to the thrift store, and that's how you know you're from a small town. When you're like, it just opened, and you're like, I gotta go check out the new thrift store. So that's where I went to get my steps in. Apparently everyone had the same idea because it was very crowded. But thrift stores, I think they should be like regulated or arrested. Because it's just everyone's shit that they couldn't sell on Facebook Marketplace. And they're like, let's try it down at the thrift store. We'll get some bites there. But I walked in, I looked at a lamp, and the lamp, you guys know what a lamp is, right? You plug it in, it shines. Okay, good. We can move on. But the tag and the lamp was like in all caps, it may or may not shine, sold as is. And like, I wish I could just like do that, bring all my shit and put it in a pile and be like, it doesn't work and whatever, it's broken, it probably smells, but I do know for damn well certain it's sold as is. I wish I could put that on my resume, bring the energy into my resume and just put in all caps, may or may not work, hire me. Alright, you guys are awesome. I'm Brisa Sylvestre.
Brisa Sylvestre! Brisa Sylvestre, everybody!